I think we will do some progression part also today. Not exactly complete progression, but yes, small part of it. Bad years for the health. This is what you are asking. Bad year. Okay, so how to identify those years? Possibility of health trouble. Now we know that health is ruled by Jupiter, Sun, not Moon exactly. It is mistake here. Jupiter, Sun, Mars. Okay, in female chart, that is Venus, Sun, Mars. When these planets are afflicted by the transit of Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn, serious health problems suffer. Okay, so the word here transit means progression. Transit means the movement of planet. So that can be a regular transit or as well as progression. In both cases, this rule is applicable. So I'll explain one more time. So this first line is saying if the transit of Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn influence the Jupiter, Sun, and Mars in your chart, okay, then health trouble starts or native will face health difficulty. So when we say Jupiter, Sun, and Mars, so always remember this is applicable only when out of the Jupiter, Sun, and Mars, let's say Mars and Sun are afflicted. Okay, then this Rahu, Ketu, Saturn can create trouble related to Mars and Sun. The affliction is needed. If no affliction,
basic requirement. First is the basic requirement.
yeah.
Thereafter, we see the transit.
Yeah. So it means every kind of health issues, we need to focus only on the Jupiter, Sun, and Mars. That's it. Because whatever we have done, combinations, analysis, and all, you can see we are connected with the Jupiter, Sun, or Mars only. From that only we are deriving the body organs. Correct. So in Akshay Kumar horoscope, if we are seeing that Jupiter and Sun are creating health difficulties. Jupiter and Sun. So obviously this Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu in transit, whenever they touch or in triangle with the Sun and Jupiter, native this Akshay Kumar can face difficulty in the health. This is the example. Just a second.
Sir, one thing. Sir, how, I mean, in checking of the disease, is it necessary that Jupiter and or Venus, as the case may be, must be involved?
Jupiter and
Venus, as the case may be for male and female, must
it is
be.
not mandatory.
It's mandatory, no, sir? I mean, if Jupiter is not involved, so disease will not happen.
No, it's not mandatory, I'm saying. It's not mandatory. Like we have 3 planets, okay? Jupiter or Venus first, Mars and Sun, correct? Out of these 3 planets, at least 2 should be involved.
Okay.
Maybe Sun and Jupiter, maybe Mars and Sun. Okay, then this Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, if they are in transit, they are connected with these 2 planets in transit, health issue can be possible.
I thought no, because the Jiva is, if it is involved, then only it will be having disease. So I was thinking.
Then it becomes prominent. Okay, but I have seen many cases in which Jiva is not involved, still that person is facing difficulty. Okay, so in practical case studies, you will see that. Otherwise, logically, Jiva should be involved. But here point is when I say Mars is involved, that physical body is involved. No? So health issue is connected with the physical body. If Jiva is not involved, only Mars is involved, then also we can see the health problem. You know, like this whole concept is like, see, this is very interesting when you see this whole Jyotish, we have 9 planets, correct? So these 9 planets are actually, you are using everywhere. These 9, what we call 9 ways of intelligence we can see. Like in terms of profession, like take the example of profession. So we take Saturn as a karmakara. Okay, so we see 10th house from Saturn, correct? Or 10th house from Lagna to predict the professional part, correct? But Jyotish says in profession, Saturn may be a karmakara, but in profession you are using many things. Okay, so your profession also involved this intelligence, that I am teaching, so I am using some kind of intelligence. If I'm not using intelligence, then I can't create courses. Okay, new kind of courses. I've seen like the science of remedies course, the stock market, or there are many courses which we have started first time. So obviously we require some kind of intelligence to design all these things. So it means in my profession also intelligence is involved, some part. So in your profession also intelligence is involved. If you are a doctor, then you require that intelligence. So if intelligence is required in the profession, then who is the Karaka?
Mercury.
Mercury. Okay, so it means you need 10th house from Mercury, correct?
10th house, 10th house from Mercury or 5th house from Mercury, sir?
10th from Mercury, because that is that
Yes,
Mercury
from 10th.
you are using in career,
Okay. Okay.
correct?
Okay.
Now, in profession, other than intelligence, what you require? You can't do your profession without your involvement.
Through yourself, first house.
So I can't
Mars.
conduct course if I'm not present in the course. Obviously, nowadays we have recorded sessions, so I can arrange something like recordings of a pre-recorded session, and what we call, if I'm not giving any permission to talk, I can obviously play the recording things. Okay, so nowadays people use these methods. Okay, but the thing is, presence is required, correct? So now presence is a requirement that physical existence is required. Physical existence is not possible with the Mangal, without Mangal, Mars. So if now in your profession, Mars is also important. So 10 from Mars is also important for us. So till now we have seen this Saturn, Mercury and Mars. So what else you require for the professional angle? Do you think only intelligence and physical presence is important?
Creativity. Creativity also. Creativity is also important, sir.
Yes, so
Venus-
creativity is Venus. Okay, so now every profession don't require creativity. Every profession don't require creativity. Designers require. Okay. Oh yeah, in my profession also we require creativity, na? So that creativity thing are required for us. But every profession don't require creativity. Okay, but in maximum cases we require creativity. So Venus is
For recognition is required, no, sir. I mean, whatever you are doing, I mean,
wisdom. Jupiter wisdom.
and
Jupiter.
Now you know the nowadays Jupiter is not present in the profession. That's why we don't have any wisdom in the profession. We are suffering. We feel bored, or we are not thankful to our employer. We feel suffocated in our work area and all. Why that is happening? Because the lack of energy of Jupiter. The 10 from Jupiter is also important. You have seen the Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter.
Rahu is important too, sir, because of the social media.
So Rahu Ketu is also important. So if you see Jyotish in this angle, so nothing is left. All nine planets always contribute to every area of life. You can't imagine any area. See, in marriage also we say only Venus is important. That is a half truth. Not Venus, all 9 planets are required. Without all these 9 qualities or 9 kind of consciousness, we can say, we can't survive in relationship also. Okay, so think about this. So BNN is only saying you to use only 3 parameters for the health: Mars, Sun, and Jeevkara. Okay, but if you see Jyotish in real sense, not only these 3 planets, all planets are important for us. Our mind or brain or our intelligence is not that superior that we can include all 9 planets all together and we do analysis. It becomes confusing for us. That's why 3 is enough for. Okay, Sun is important in the profession because we require name, fame, status. So maybe this is your research part. In future, if you want to do more on this area, you can include all 9 planets. You can write a book and nobody is going to read that book. Okay. We're talking about the timing. Because everybody requires snapshot method. Na? Who care about the 9, including the 9 planets in your analysis? So second point, when transit Jupiter passes over Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, okay, then also this can be possible. But the second point is a little bit confusing at this stage. You can ignore this part. First, you can understand, first you use it. That is easy to apply. Now, third point says this may not happen always, but to find bad years along with the above rules, look at the natal Mercury involvement at its sign Virgo, as it is a natural sign of sickness. Clear? So this is also optional. If Mercury and that Virgo sign is involved, Virgo sign is a natural in Kalpurush Kundali, that is the 6th house. That is a prime for the health difficulties we say. So if Mercury and Virgo is also involved, then that is a double surety of yes, some kind of health problem arises. But this is not happening always. I checked. So out of these three, the first rule is important. Now before you see these things, let me explain you some basics about timing. So here we are talking about progression. See, in BNN books, they don't write progression, they write the transit. Okay, so it becomes confusion for us. Okay, whether they are talking about progression or transit. In maximum cases, they are talking only about the progression. Okay, so the progression is different and transit is different. Okay, what is the difference? I will just let you know. But before this, you understand the progression. Okay, what is the progression? Progression means progression, what? Progress, going ahead. One step, one step, one step like this. They will move. Transit will also move. Okay, progression moving from Aries to Taurus, Gemini, Cancer like this, they will move. In transit also plan to move. What is the difference in progression and transit? See, progression is based on individual horoscope. Transit is movement of planets universally. Understood? See, in J-Aura, we have a transit tab. If I click here, I can create a transit chart for any day. Let's say December, 10th of December 2024. If I click show transit chart. Okay, so this particular chart, Scorpio Lagna. Okay, Saturn is in Scorpio, this Aquarius Lagna, Saturn in Aquarius, and Rahu Moon in Pisces. Okay, so this is the chart. Chart for 10th of December. Time is 12:16:28 seconds. So this is the transit chart. Now this transit chart is same for everybody. For Alkesh ji also this transit chart is same. Okay, for Venkat Krishna also this transit chart is same. For Shweta ji also this is same. Okay, so if I say Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign in my chart, that is a wrong statement. Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign in everybody's chart. This is a transit. Transit is something universal. That is already happening right now. Okay, so how we use transit for the predictions? So we just integrate our birth chart to the transit, then we make prediction. Okay, how we do that? You can see here in 12:16:28 seconds, 12 hour, 16 minute, 28 seconds, Lagna rising was Aquarius, but my Lagna is Dhanu. Then how will I integrate the both chart? So what I do, I just rotate the Lagna of this transit chart and I will keep rest of planet as it is. So let's see this chart. Can open anybody. This is one chart. Some person. This is transit chart. Today's chart. Sorry, 10th of December. Now see this. This inner chart is a birth chart and outer chart is a transit chart. Now we have integrated the both charts. Okay. So Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign for everybody. That is true. But for this person, Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign in 7th house. Okay. In my chart, Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign, but in 4th house. Because my Lagna is Dhanu. Now, if we integrate the both chart, birth chart and all, now that is something customized for me. So for Shweta, Rahu Moon is transiting in Pisces sign. Which house? Shweta, which house in your chart?
Sir, Rahu moon in the 5th house and the Scorpio Lagna, sir.
The 5th house, correct? So it means the same transit is the universal transit, Rahu moon. Okay, it's transit in 7th house for this native, 4th house in my chart, 5th house in your chart. Maybe for Venkat Krishna ji, it may be in 11th house. Okay, so it depends person to person. So now that is something customized. This is transit, correct? Now, what is progression? So the progression is simple to understand. Progression is simple. Like in transit, that is a universal thing. But progression is not universal. Progression is depends upon your chart. Okay, so for my progression of Jupiter is different. Alkesh's Jupiter progression is different. Shweta's Jupiter progression is different. Everybody progression is different. Why? Because the progressions calculations start from your birth chart degree. If I am calculating the Jupiter progressions, obviously that progression will start from this 10 degree of Dhanu Rashi. So in my chart, my Jupiter is in different degree and Rashi. Okay, my Jupiter is in Taurus sign, 2 degree. So my progression start from the 2 degree of Taurus sign. Okay, in Alkesh's horoscope, maybe Jupiter is in, let's say, Scorpio. Okay, so his progression will start from Scorpio. Yes, for everybody. There is nothing like universal. Okay, so calculations we do in horoscope only. Okay, but in transit, that is the universal thing. That actually you are not calculating, that is already happening. This is the difference in the progression and all. In progression, especially in Bhrigu Nandi Nadi, almost in 80% of Nadi text. Okay, progression, we use progression for Jupiter. First is Jupiter. Jupiter's progression we use. Then we use the progression of Saturn. We use progression of Rahu. These 3 kinds of progression we use to make predictions. Only these 3 is enough. Supporting progression, this is not exactly required, but still you can use it. That is Mars, Mercury, Venus. Sun and Moon, they never progress. Sun and Moon.
Lagna, sir?
No, Lagna is also not progressing, especially in this Bhrigu Nandi Nadi system. Now, one more point, Jupiter. See this Mars, Mercury, Venus, and that Lagna also, Algeji. In some Nadi, we take Lagna progression also. Okay, but that is not a Bhrigu Nandi Nadi. Like in, I think, there is a book, we call it Nadi Praveshika by Aikas.
Yeah.
So there are some chapter you can see that is based on the progression method only. So there you will see the progressions of these planets, including Lagna also. But that progression is different. What we are reading is different. Okay, so now Jupiter progression. Jupiter progression is for 12 years, okay, per sign. Saturn progression, 30 years per sign. Rahu Ketu, 18 years per sign. Easy to remember. This is the natural transit timeline also for the whole zodiac sign. But in progression, we call it major progression. These are the major progression. Okay, so in progression also there are 2 things. First is major, second is minor. Okay, like in Dasha we use Mahadasha, Antardasha, major period, sub period, sub period, like this. In similar manner, in progression also we have major and minor, only major and minor, 2. So major progression of Jupiter is 12 year in one sign. Saturn major progression is 30 year in a sign. Rahu Ketu 18 year in a sign. Mars, Mercury, Venus, they are also in 30 years, they move one sign. Okay, how to use it? I will explain it later. This is a major progression. Now, after major, we have minor also. Let me explain that minor. Jupiter, 1 year in a sign. This is a minor progression. So imagine like this, like let's say if my Jupiter is in Taurus, Okay, so after my birth, what we will say, Jupiter major progression is in Taurus for next 12 years. Okay, minor progression, it will start from Taurus in my first year, and in second year, that same Jupiter will move to next sign, that is Gemini. Okay, then Cancer next year. So one year we will progress it. That is a minor progression. So what happens after 12 years? Okay, that whole cycle will complete. It means 12th year of minor progression will end in Aries. Okay, that will complete my major progression of Jupiter. 12 years in a sign. After that, Jupiter, my major progression of Jupiter will move to next sign after 12 years, from Taurus to Gemini. Then from Gemini, my minor progression will start, one year. This is how we calculate progression of Jupiter. See this chart. For now, ignore the degrees. Okay, we'll calculate the rough. See, very first thing is whenever you see any chart, so that progression calculation should start in your mind automatically without any software or anything. Okay, so without degree, you first practice it. Once you are comfortable with this method of calculation, then we include the degrees. So understand this concept: 12 year in a sign for major progression, minor progression, 1 year in a sign. Okay, both for Jupiter. Now this native birth is 20th January 1996. Jupiter is in Sagittarius sign. So what will be the major progression for Jupiter?
Jupiter
What
will
is the
go
major?
2009 progress come back to Scorpio.
2009. Why
13th
2000?
year will be, 12 years will be completed and 13th year.
It will be in Aquarius.
Aquarius, not Aquarius or Capricorn.
सर 96 हो गया ना सर 96 का मतलब 28 years हो गया सर
नहीं, first we will do the 12 year ना 96 plus 12 year.
हाँ okay
96 plus 12 year means
2008.
2008. It will move
So it
in
means-
Capricorn.
yeah, so it means till 2008 Jupiter will stay in this Sagittarius sign, correct?
Yeah.
From 2008 Jupiter will move to Capricorn, this particular. So if I ask you in 2040, 2040, in which sign Jupiter major progression was happening? Jupiter major progression will happen in 2040.
Another easier way to look at it is कि आप एज देख लीजिए 0 से 12 years तक प्रोग्रेस करेगा 9th में आप 12 या 13 से 20 आगे 12 साल नेक्स्ट साइन फिर 12 साल तो उससे थोड़ा इजी हो जाएगा कि हमारे को एकदम देखते ही पता चलेगा कि एज क्या है नेटिव की और अभी इस साइन में है प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हैं दिस थिंग तो इफ वी जस्ट काइंड ऑफ कीप दैट इन माइंड आल्सो इट मे हेल्प थोड़ा सा
Yes, that is, it all depends upon person to person, like how they perceive this method. Okay, so they can add 12 years. Okay, from this is the one way. Or if you know the age, add 12 years, one sign. Okay, both are fine. So the thing is, by looking the chart, at least you should mentally calculate all these things.
Yes, sir.
So after every 12 years, you have to move Jupiter. This is how progression works. This is a major progression of 12 years. Okay, so if I ask you in 2040, in which sign that Jupiter will progress, आप कैसे करोगे? अब इसमें कोई एज नहीं
नहीं 2040 में तो सर सिंपली हम एज भी दिस थिंग देख सकते हैं ना तो इनकी एज 40 में अबाउट 44 होगी ना सर
सर लग्न में होगा
नहीं 44 होगी तो 20 0 to 12
1996 minus 20 40. So he'll be 44 years old divided by 12.
So he'll be
So
sir
that
in the
means
seventh house progress
3.5 time like he will go like first second
seventh house sir
yeah seventh house
सिंपल सा एज वो था वो सिर्फ एज मैंने वो डाल दी ना सर 44 की एज होएगी और उसके अंदर 36 टू 48 तक है स्पाइसी साइन में
Yeah.
तो 7th हाउस में है इट इज जस्ट अ मेंटल मेथड
हो जाए, that is easy. Everybody can calculate like this. Okay, see, this is important, we require in future classes. Because every time we need to calculate it. Purnima ji, samajh mein aaya?
Seventh house.
So this is a major progression. Okay, so after every 12 year, your Jupiter, you have to move. So when I say you have to move, so remember always, you have to create a new chart. Okay, anybody have seen that Lal Kitab have annual chart, correct? In Tajik also we have annual chart. Varshfal we call it. Okay, in Tajik what we do, that depending on the sun, okay, when sun completes one complete cycle, okay, we create a new annual chart, completely new. But that new chart is derived from the birth chart only. The same thing we are doing here. So when I say after 12 years, you have to move Jupiter to the Capricorn. So it means you can create a completely new chart where you will keep rest of planets in the same position. But Jupiter, you take it from Sagittarius sign and keep it in Capricorn. Then after 12 years, your Jupiter will move to Aquarius. It means you are changing your original positions of planet. This is the progression. Then some of you can ask, okay, like how to predict event now? Because now chart is changed. So thing is, that's why I'm saying every event you need to decode from the birth chart first. Okay, the all possibilities of event. Okay, then when you create a progress chart, if that same event is repeating in progress, then that event is happening in the native life. Otherwise, some people what they do, they decode the event based on the progress chart. Now this is the biggest mistake. What happens with this method is, let's say if in your birth chart, if marriage is not showing, denial of marriage. Okay, but when you create the progression chart, your planet will move to some other places. Okay, so that event is happening now. So people will predict event for the marriage. But the original birth chart is showing denial of marriage. Okay, so that's why we should first decode all possible events from the birth chart only. And then in progression chart, we see the same events. If that event is matching in the progression chart, then that event will happen for the native's life for that particular year. Otherwise, no.
So we can just limit the progression to when. अगर event possible है, if an event is promised in the birth chart, so we should look at transit and progression, of course, to predict when it's possible, not that
Yes.
it is possible or not. So it's just the timeline we look at when we look at the progression.
Progression and transit both are for the timeline only.
Yes.
Possibilities of event you can see from the birth chart, this natal chart. Alkesh ji.
I understand, sir. Yes, sir. Now, sir, like, अगर इसी में we go little further. Let's say we are discussing, let's say, the progression of Jupiter. Now, after sir, 2040, you said, so in 2040 it will be in the Pisces. Now, that is the major event, and that is the major event. Now, the minor event, that is in the 44 years will be completed. So Jupiter minor movement, 1 year every year we have to take that transit, that it will move one house ahead in 1 year. So there will be two positions for the Jupiter. One is the major movement and second is the minor movement. So how to relate those in terms of the predictions or in terms of the natal position?
See, that is easy to understand, but not in practice. Okay, but in practice we need to do. Okay, so thing is, let's say Jupiter is in 7th house, okay, in 2040. That is a major progression. Now we know that Jupiter will stay there for next 12 years. Okay, so whatever prediction we make by that position, that is applicable for the 12 years. Okay, now that is not a prediction. Okay, that is the only possibility that can happen in 12 years. So if I say, okay, no, your marriage will happen in this 12 years, that is not a precise prediction. Huh? So to understand the possibilities of event within that 12 year, we require minor progression.
Correct.
So let's say if I want to build any house and I want to see that combination in the birth chart. So very first step is, in your natal chart, in your birth chart, we will search the combination of house. So let's say you found the combination of house. Now, in 40th year, in 2040, okay, we see whether that Jupiter major progression is showing the purchase of property, because that is originally present in your birth chart, correct? Now your major progression is also showing, but the timeline is 12 years. So within that 12 year, you need to again search with the minor Jupiter, same combination.
Right.
Now that same combination will not going to happen in all 12 houses. Okay, so let's say Jupiter, you have to move 1 year ahead, one sign. So at some point of time, you will see that 2 or 3 houses are showing the possibilities of property buy. You can predict, okay, during this year only, you have yoga. This is how we use the major and minor progression. So the concept is very similar to Vimshottari Dasha or any Dasha system. In Dasha, what we do, we have a major Dasha. That major Dasha, like Venus 20 years, okay, like this, okay, Saturn, Rahu, some 18 years. Now within that 18 years, we narrow down it further by using the sub-periods. Then we have sub-period, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, Prana, Sukshma, like this. So in this progression also, we have major and minor. Major progression is for 12 years. Now to narrow down those 12 years, we have one period of minor progression. So the event you need to check first in birth chart, then in major chart, then in minor chart.
And so for retro planets?
Retro planets have rules, so I will cover that rule, okay, step by step. But first, this concept is clear, everybody? Okay, major progression. Remember, I am not using degree right now. Okay, so we will use degree in upcoming classes. Then I will share you some rules, retrogression rules, exception rules also. Okay, so all those things we will include when we start degree. But for now, forget about the retrogression degrees. Okay, just mentally practice this method. So if this is understood, now rest of things are easy for you. When I say Saturn is for 30 years, that is a major progression. It means wherever your Saturn is present in your chart, okay, in your birth chart. So for next 30 years, Saturn major progression is in same sign. But minor progression is for 2.5 years. Okay. Rahu Ketu for 18 years major progression. But minor progression is
1.5.
18 months. So approximately people take 1.5 months. Sorry, 15 months. Sorry. 15 months. But that is not
1.5 years. Yes, sir. 1.5 years.
1.5 years. Now you take 1.5 years or 18 months, both are same. So, like we have seen how Jupiter is functioning, in similar manner, Saturn and Rahu Ketu will also function in same manner. Major and minor. Okay. Now, when to use the Jupiter-Saturn progression, when to use Rahu Ketu progression. Okay. Whether we should use all these 3 progression together, all these things we will see step by step. Understand this Jupiter progression is very, very important. Now the transit. Like in that health topic, we are discussing about the transit. So transit means 1 year in one sign. Jupiter will stay in one sign in a year. Saturn in transit, it will stay in one sign for 2.5 years. Rahu Ketu, 18 months. Simple transit. Okay, so this is just a general idea about the progression for now.